If you want to win at fantasy basketball, you got to put in the work. You got to do the research. You got to make sure you're checking out what the trends are. But you know what? All of that is super time consuming. You're a busy person, right? You got a job, you might be in school, you got a family, you got all of these things that you're managing on a day to day. Who has time to do research for fantasy basketball? You know who? I do. I'm going to do the work for you so you can secure your fantasy basketball championship this year. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. In this episode, we're going to go over the top 100 for points leagues according to hashtag basketball. If you're in the space, you know that these rankings just dropped. Like, they are fresh off the press. So I'm going to give my initial reaction, let you know if I agree with certain things, and also just share the information with you so you can put it on while you're driving in your car or doing your workout at the gym, and you don't have to sit there and sift through all of the pages of the internet in order to find the information you need to win your championship. So with no further ado, we're going to jump right into it. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kickoff, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our winner-takes-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and use the promo code BELIEVE and get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. So as you probably know, I'm a big fan of hashtag basketball. I believe it's one of the most reliable sources on the internet for fantasy basketball content. I also believe it's one of the most user-friendly interfaces. It's very easy, especially for people who are coming over from fantasy football and they don't want to get bombarded by too much data and information. I used to help them with their dynasty rankings a few years ago, so they definitely have a spot in my heart. So big shout out to my man Joey over there, who manages most of this stuff almost by himself. I think he has a pretty small team, but it's quite amazing and impressive to see the work that they're doing. But you know what? We're going to dig in and get you that fantasy basketball championship. So with no further ado, let's start with the number one player for points leagues, according to hashtag basketball, Luka Doncic. I am not against this at all. I think this is definitely a reasonable play. Some might say Wemby, some might say Jokic. For me, I'm not mad at this at all. The next one is a little more shocking, and we'll kind of scroll down a little bit so we can see this. But the next one is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this is wild to me. This is a little crazy for me. I disagree with this wholeheartedly, but I think as a community and as an industry, the fact that a channel and a platform like hashtag basketball is making such a bold prediction is telling. So it's something that I want to pay attention to. I definitely am thinking about moving Giannis up in my rankings from where I had him. Definitely wouldn't put him at 2. Number 3, Nikola Jokic. Totally fine with Jokic being in the top 3 with a Luka Doncic. I'll talk about the person that I think will round out the top 3, but don't disagree with this at all. Him being number 3, or in the top 3, I should say. And then for number 4, we got Victor Wembanyama, arguably the poster boy for fantasy basketball moving forward. He is going to be a staple in the top 3 of fantasy basketball for the next 10 years minimum, barring any serious, significant injuries. For me, right now, I am leaning towards putting Victor Wembanyama as my one. One could argue that he works a little better for category leagues than he works for points leagues, and I would just follow up with I would rebuttal with I think he's going to do well in any format. Like, I'm talking best ball, I'm talking, daily fantasy, I'm talking roto leagues, I'm talking 9-cat, 8-cat, 25-cat, We talking about Victor frickin' Wembanyama, the man who will break fantasy basketball. So for me, I have him in the top 3, leaning towards putting him at 1. Not sure if I want to put him over Jokic at the moment, but I'm going to be working on my rankings. Let me know in the comments if you guys want access to my points league rankings for redraft as well as my dynasty rankings. Please let me know in the comments and comment the word rankings, and I'll make sure that I make that available for you once you join our free online community over at Discord. So for Victor Wembanyama, I would have him a little higher. Number 5, we got Anthony Davis. I'm not mad at that at all. SGA, I would probably have SGA a little higher than AD, but I see, considering what AD did last year, he averaged 25.2 points per game, 12.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.2 steals, and 2.3 blocks per game. One could argue if Anthony Davis is healthy, that he could break fantasy. I'm just saying. Number 7, we got Joel Embiid. He is totally falling down the rankings because of health issues, I believe. Number 8, we got Jason Tatum. I don't know if I would have Jason Tatum that high. I don't know. Number 9, Domantas Sabonis. Why? For points leagues, this is someone you need to pay attention to because he does not have the name value that many of these players have. So because of that, he often slips in drafts. I don't give a shit, Sue Puppy. There is no way that Domantas Sabonis should not be in your top 10 for points leagues in fantasy basketball. Big facts. Number 10, LeBron James. I don't know how I feel about Father Time landing in the top 10. I don't know if I agree with that one. Trae Young at 11. I probably would have Trae Young a little higher. Tyrese Halliburton, I would probably have him a little higher. Ja Morant with the blicky in the club at number 13. I am concerned about that. Not because of his skill level or his talent or even his injury risk. Like, my biggest issue with Ja Morant is, what is he going to do next? What? I mean, he's in the blicky in the car with his friends shooting him on Facebook Live. He's with the blicky in the nudie bar. Yeah, I said nudie bar. With the blicky. What's next? You gonna go to pickup? Like, you waiting in the line at pickup? What's that about? You gonna be at the post office shooting a Facebook Live with the blicky? Listen, I love Ja Morant, and I want nothing but the best for him as a young black man. I want him to win, right? But me trying to raise a 14-year-old boy and having examples like that floating around in the world, it only makes me question, what kind of discipline the brother has, and will he in fact be able to fulfill his true potential if he keeps on blocking his blessings. I need to do a Ja Morant episode. I'm sorry. Number 14, James Harden. I love this. James Harden is way lower in most projections on Yahoo and on ESPN, wherever you're drafting. That's going to consistently move up. I like this move. It is bold compared to what I've seen, but I think it's totally spot on considering the departure of Paul George and just James Harden's fantasy-friendly skill set, if you will. Number 15, LaMelo Ball continues to fall. Scotty Barnes, number 16. Number 17, Anthony Edwards. I'll probably have Ant-Man a little higher. 18, Kevin Durant. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I guess I'm just, I'm getting older with these players, so I'm kind of looking like, dang, like KD is 18, but it's thinking about the people in front of him, like who you moving down? Number 19, Devin Booker. 20, Donovan Mitchell. 21, Alperen Sengun. This is good. This is someone that I call him the baby joker. I think he has the ability in all formats to be a rising fantasy basketball star. I'm okay with him in this area. Paolo Banchero at 22, I probably have him a little lower, but I'm not mad at his points league prowess. At number 23, De'Aaron Fox. 24, Bam Adebayo. 25, Kyrie Irving. I would probably have Kyrie a little higher here. He was one of the top players in fantasy last year. Jalen Brunson at 26, I would also have him a little higher. 27, Damian Lillard. 28, Kawhi Leonard. I'm out on Kawhi Leonard. I would not have him here. Julius Randle at 29. That seems a little high. Cade Cunningham at 30. Yes. 31, Steph Curry is at 31. I don't know about that. I think that might be, he needs to kind of be in the same area as KD at this point. So I don't know about that. 32, Lauri Markkanen. That's okay. Zion Williamson, yes, at 33. 34, Maxey. I would probably go a little higher for Maxey. 35, Jaylen Brown. 36, DeJounte Murray. 39, Jalen Johnson. So let's talk about Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is the type of player that could shift everything for your fantasy team. We've seen him go as late as the 6th round in some of our mock drafts. Most recently, he went in the 4th round. He will continue to move up. The Hawks were comfortable with moving on from DeJounte Murray because of what they see in this young man. Don't sleep, because that second year, like, listen, this guy, is he in his second year? My apologies. Let me check. I don't want to be out here. I have to research that. My apologies, folks. But anyway, he's a young guy, right? He's only been in the league for a short period of time. And this is the type of player that could shift your entire fantasy outlook for the season. So keep an eye on him. Don't let him fall too far. Speaking of falling too far, Chet Holmgren at 38. That is wild. Listen to this. Last year, Chet averaged 17.4 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 0.7 steals, and 2.3 blocks. People out here in the fantasy basketball world, fantasy sports world, sometimes look at points like, oh, you play in the points leagues, all you have to do is find a player that scores the most points. It's not about scoring the most points. It's about tallying the most points generated by specific categories. So if you're looking at just the guys who scored a ball, you got it all wrong. Because in most fantasy basketball platforms, default settings will increase and heavily weight the value of categories like blocks. So if a guy like Chet Holmgren is averaging 2.3 blocks per game, that's really saying like he averaged an additional 9 points for those 2.3 blocks. So just be mindful of that when you're drafting. Don't just be like, oh, he scores the most, I'm drafting him. Nah, man. If you want to win, you got to take the top off. Boobies is out, hair blowing in the freaking wind. Convertible status. And Chet Holmgren is the type of player that will be in the drop top Mustang with you. Number 39, Jimmy Butler, out on Jimmy. 40, Pascal Siakam. 41, Gobert. 42, Karl Anthony Towns. I think that's a great value for Karl Anthony Towns. I probably will have him a little higher. Mobley at 43, probably be a little higher on him. 44, Van Vliet, I think that's good. 45, Jaren Jackson Jr., I think that's okay. Vucevic, 46. 47, Quickly. 48, Murray. 49, Paul George. I think this is one of the greatest deals that we have in fantasy right now. Number 50, Kyle Kuzma. I would have him lower. RJ Barrett, 51. 52, Desmond Bane. I think that is way too low for Desmond Bane. 53, Nick Claxton. That's okay. Miles Bridges, 54. Not sure. 55, Josh Giddey, no Diddy. I think that would be a little high. 56, Cam Thomas. I think that's a little high. 57, Franz Wagner. Yes. Jalen Williams, 58. Yes. 59, Brandon Ingram. Yes. 60, Jarrett Allen. Yes. DeAndre Ayton, 61. Yes. 62, DeMar DeRozan. They not like us. Yes. 63, Kristaps Porzingis. Yes. 64, Zach LaVine. Maybe. I probably have Zach LaVine a little lower. 65, Miles Turner. I don't know. 66, Darius Garland. I think that's a value. I think he's going to bounce back. That is way too low for Darius Garland. 67, Devin Vassell. That's okay. 68, Nurkic. 69, Hero. 70, Jalen Green. Jalen Green is going way higher in a lot of the mock drafts that we see. I think this might be a pretty good deal for him right here, and probably more where I believe he lands. 71, Derek White. 72, Kobe White. 73, Barry White. Can't get enough of your love, baby. That's a joke. Number 73, Jakob Poeltl. Number 74, Tobias Harris. Number 75, Anthony Simons. I think that might be a little low for Anthony. It's number 76, D'Angelo Russell. I'm not sure about D'Angelo. 77, Bradley Beal. How the mighty have fallen. Hot dog waterfest. Number 78, Mark Williams. Wow. I think that might be a little too high. 79, Jordan Poole. 80, Clint Capella. 81, Colin Sexton, a little too high. 82, Jalen Duren, too low. I think he should be higher. Jonas Valanciunas, 83. 84, Aaron Gordon. 85, Russell Westbrook. You're not getting rid of me. Standing on business. They not like us. I think that might be a little too high. 86, CJ McCollum. 87, Jaden Ivey. 88, Terry Rozier. 89, Jeremy Grant. 90, Amin Thompson. 91, Jabari Smith Jr. 92, Middleton. 93, Zubac. 94, Brandon Miller. 95, Michael Porter Jr. 96, Trace Jackson Davis. I love Trace Jackson Davis this season. These guys are aging out. Klay Thompson is out of town. He is going to be a solid play. I think this is too low for him. If he's that low in your draft, be sneaky about him, but don't wait too long because somebody else might watch this video. Last season, he averaged 12.1 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 0.6 steals, but 1.6 blocks per game. We talked about the value of defensive stats earlier. This is a player you want to keep an eye on. Number 97, Walker Kessler. Number 98, Drew Holiday. I think that's too low for Drew. Number 99, Mikal Bridges. Way too low for Mikal Bridges. I think people are sleeping on him because of the nonsense of him going in the second round last season. And then rounding out the top 100 from the Phoenix Suns, Tyus Jones. If you want to check out the Yahoo rankings, check out this video right here. This episode was presented to you by BetOnline.